Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for FourCast is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of FourCast is brought to you by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to publish a high-quality website or blog. For a free trial and 10% off your new account, go to Squarespace.com and use the code CAST.
What sort of future do you think we're heading for? How will we live as we slip into the 21st century?
Welcome to FourCast episode 39. I'm Tom Merritt. And alongside with me is Scott Johnson. How you doing, Scott?
Oh, you couldn't hear me. I'm Scott Johnson. I'm doing great. Can you still not hear me? You can hear me.
No, we just had you turned down. It's no big deal. Joining us today on our FourCast adventure are two of my favorite podcasters in the world, Ayleen and George from ToyBreak.com. How you guys doing?
Good. I'm still rocking out to the theme music.
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome.
We could go back to that if you want.
No, we can continue. It's okay. Keep a good pace going.
Yeah, that's great. It's good. Guys, again, we had them on Current Geek Weekly, one of our Friday nights, and I was so excited to hear they'd be back for FourCast. Can't wait to hear what their little predictions of the future are. They probably want to tell a little bit about themselves. What are you guys up to? What is so cool about you guys?
Oh, thanks for laughing at that, George.
Go ahead, you tell.
Oh, thanks. Well, we do a weekly podcast all about toys. It's called Toy Break. We focus sort of on designer vinyl, but we try to touch everything in the world of toys, literally, that we can. Action figures, plush, collectibles, events. Next week, we have San Diego Comic-Con coming up, where we will be exhibiting with our own company, October Toys. So we have our hands in a lot of toy pots and a small podcasting pot.
Do you have any new October toys coming out?
We do have a few things. We have some resin castings that are pretty cool that I don't have to show you yet because they're still being made right now. But we will show you at Comic-Con.
All right. Well, I predict you will see them at Comic-Con, and that's the last prediction I'll make on this show. That's what we have guests for. Also, what we have listeners for, actually. We get some predictions, some good predictions from our listeners. Going to read one out here. This is from Ryan Johnson at the MSU Neuroscience program, who says, Mr. Merritt and Mr. Johnson, no need to be so formal. Call me Tom.
Yeah, call me Scott.
I predict that in the next 200 years, teleportation will become widely available and will cause drastic changes in our world. Think of the implications. No more shipping. Just go down to your local teleport station and send that package to Grandma instantly. No more UPS, FedEx, truckers, truck manufacturers, shipping vessel manufacturers. No more flying. No more airplanes. The list goes on and on. A very large portion of our species' time and effort is invested in moving goods and people around, and that would be consolidated to a single industry. Now, he has a couple of more implications here, but I know this one has got to be heart and soul close to you guys because you manufacture toys and you have to ship your toys out.
We do, absolutely. Can you imagine how much time would be saved from just teleporting things from overseas to here? That would be amazing.
Yeah, but do you trust who's going to run it? Like the government, the U.S. Post Office? I'm not letting that happen.
Well, you have to rely on them right now. Maybe it'll be competing. Maybe there'll be a government teleportation, but there'll also be the Brown teleportation and the Teleportation Express, and DHL.
These things would have to be. These are like those things that come up on the show all the time. It would utterly destroy such a large portion of the world economy that it would have to be a slow transition, just like cars, just like fuels and things like that. But let's say it did happen. This just needs to work like the internet does. It needs to be, we're all going to have our little teleportation stations, and you're going to have one somewhere else. And our stuff that we send from this end needs to be routed through whoever's teleportation servers are there. But it's a big open standard. Nobody controls it. And it's the way we get email now. If that happens, that's the right direction. Anything beyond that, where an entity or a company controls the whole thing, that's bad news.
Just think of luggage when you're going on an airplane. You don't have to figure out, okay, I'm going to check this luggage. I'm going to carry this on. And, now I got to, bring all the luggage into the bathroom because I'm traveling alone. Or, my wife's sitting there with like 7 carry-ons while I'm going to go run and get something to eat. You just teleport it all. right to the right. It's right there at baggage claim. Unless
in essence, we're kind of doing this already. Like I gave emails the example, but digital distribution of all kinds of different kinds of data is really all we want. We want to be able to say, okay, think about us 300 years ago. Well, I got to go on this trip, and I'm going to be on this boat, and I'm probably going to catch diphtheria or whatever they had on boats, and everyone's going to get sick and die, scurvy, right? And for me to bring all my letters and the papers I'm working on for that very important book that will only have 2 copies, one for the library and one for me, I need to bring stacks and stacks of scrolls and paper and ink and everything to even get that job done. Now I literally take a cell phone with me, and I have every single thing I've ever written to anyone ever via email or whatever other documents I need. So we've done it in the digital world. We just need to do it in the physical world.
I'm sorry, sir. It looks like your bags are buffering in Baltimore. We're having a little bandwidth outage there, but we should have them to you shortly.
Yeah, just like your email's down or your internet connection's down. That's all good. We can live with those delays.
Can you teleport them right to my hotel? No, sorry, sir. Our policy prohibits that.
And you're
I have
over
a question.
You only get half your bag. Sorry.
What's the question?
Okay, so I'm fully behind the teleportation of goods, but what about like food? Would you eat food that's been teleported?
Ooh, good question. Well, why not? I mean, I guess it depends on what the teleportation technology is. But if it's molecularly identical, sure, why not? Little teleported cheeseburger, it'd be great. I could get Chicago deep dish pizza and a New York bagel and some Parisian cheese teleported to me for dinner.
Yeah,
how amazing would that be?
If Tom sends me that Parisian cheese and it comes to me and is purple and has hair growing out of it, well, then we've got a glitch and you don't eat it. So I think it'll be, hopefully it'll be obvious when we have problems and we won't be getting food that looks good, tastes fine, but turns out is, changing our DNA as we eat it or something weird.
Oh, my
Would it be
gosh.
like Willy Wonka, though, where you have to have a giant chocolate bar and then on the other end it's only this big?
Also,
Yes.
Kingy points out, have none of you people ever seen The Fly?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
That's why we're not getting in there. It's just our stuff.
Yeah, right. This Parisian cheese tastes like fly.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our short-term predictions. These are predictions of what we think will happen in the next few years. Could be in your area of expertise, like podcasting or toy making, or it just could be sci-fi stuff you're imagining in the pipeline. These are the near-term, maybe a little more practical predictions. Ayleen, let's start with you. What do you see in your smaller, near-term crystal ball?
Okay, it's a prediction and sort of a hope. And it kind of relates to it relates to everybody and podcasting and everything. I'm thinking that we will see truly wireless connections for everything because we're starting to see, printers and things are becoming more affordable. But I want to see like power outlets where we don't have cables going anywhere to anything. How great would that be? You wouldn't have to travel with cables.
Power. I know. Since Nikola Tesla first tried to make that happen, everyone's been dreaming of wireless power, and we're starting to actually see it. You can buy a toothbrush that charges wirelessly. You can get the Palm Pre that charges wirelessly. We're not that far off.
Exactly. So maybe, I don't know, 5-10 years, we'll have something that will actually charge everything in our house. Like we wouldn't have to plug in cameras or laptops or lights, or we could carry just the basics, and we could podcast live from places without 1,800 wires, and do you have power and, all that crazy stuff.
It seems like you had a field of power that was generated and sort of was permeating everything. So you could charge anything and power anything you needed to. It seems like we should be able to harness that same technology and make it connected so that if you're in the middle of San Diego Comic-Con and you just suddenly have this wild hair, you know what? I'm going to podcast this conversation I'm having right now with this person at my booth. You should be able to flick on some device, have it stream live to wherever you like to stream it live, and have it archive wherever you want it to, and never think a thing about it again. Don't have to worry about moving files around, uploading junk on the internet. Just have this connected electron field of data and power that sort of permeated everything, including our brains, lungs, and other tissues. But you get my point. If that was the way of things, your future is a bright one. Sign me up.
That's my future. That's what I'm hoping.
Would it cook us like turkeys, though, having that much wireless stuff in the air?
That's what.
Probably, but I feel like we're already on the way to that. So.
Yeah.
Is it that much different?
We're kind of half roasted already, so whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd like to hear the audience weigh in on this one, too. FourCastPodcast@gmail.com, because it seems like a no-brainer, right? Like, who doesn't want to get rid of the wires, get rid of the tangle, get rid of the annoying, like, oh, wait, I have to plug in my iPhone and sync up. Oh, I haven't updated that app yet. This, just have it all happen. How long, Ayleen, do you think it would take?
I'm thinking between 7 to 10 years. So it's not, not immediate, but
7 to
within
10
our
years. Yeah. I think that's pretty close. It might be a little farther, maybe like 15, but yeah, I'm with you. I say we're in the ballpark for that. George,
did any of us have wireless internet 10 years ago? I'm just trying to think back. Do I have that math right in my head that stuff didn't exist in 2000 or 2011? I'm
trying to think. I got my first wireless card on a Dell Latitude probably 2001, 2002. So yeah, about then is when it just started to become available for consumer. I mean, I think there was wireless internet before, but it was too expensive, too enterprisey.
Yeah, so I'm trying to, not that these technologies are comparable or that the idea that we could have this field of energy in the same amount of time, but it seems like we're able to really stretch things in 10 years. So I don't think that's that far off. 10 years from now, the year is 2020, and we are all connected by a big electron field. I think that's an awesome idea, and also one of the most unique short-term predictions we've had on this show. So nice job on that.
Yeah, it's always good to get a new perspective. So pressure's on, George. We turn to you. Short-term prediction.
Oh,
what do you got?
All right. Well, mine actually stems around like magazines and newspapers, and the fact that hopefully in the near future we'll all realize that we don't really need them anymore, and we can save that paper and save those trees. And maybe everyone will come to the realization that we can just get all that stuff digitally. It kind of goes back to what that guy was saying about transferring our stuff digitally everywhere. That way, everybody can just have their newspaper, have their magazine right on their computer, on their laptop. Everybody has a personal device now. So just save all that paper and get it all digitally.
Well, we certainly are there, right? Like we have the technologies to deliver the content. So what do you think, George, is holding all this up? Why hasn't it happened yet?
I think it's just people, and they're frightened of change.
Scared magazine reading people.
You don't want to leave your collection. You have this collection for 20 years of, you've been buying National Geographic or some magazine, and it's on your shelf, and you don't want to stop buying it just to have a digital copy because you don't really get anything. Like when you buy something digitally, you don't have that feeling of fulfillment of buying something. So it's kind of that feeling, along with like maybe if you're a collector of that magazine, you don't have that collection anymore. So we have to kind of get past that as a society of like people who collect things.
Although sometimes it's easier to scan through like by flipping pages when you're like looking for a particular thing. And I don't think we've quite mimicked that easily yet digitally.
No, not with the load weight, and like when you're flipping through digital magazines, you're always like you flip 3 or 4 pages and then you got to wait for the thing to load the rest of the way, and you're like, it's not as satisfying. But there are some applications that are fun to flip through as you're just kind of digitally going like this and you're flipping the page. They're trying. It's almost there, and I think in a few years you can get to the point where if it can load fast enough, and you could flip through, I think it could happen.
There's a weird desperation right now to get people to stay with traditional print, and I'll give you an example. I was encouraged by Amazon.com to purchase a year's worth of Rolling Stone magazine for $1, which I did. I mean, it was a good freaking deal. 1 whole year, 12 issues, $1, no problem. Here's my dollar. But the minute they let me pay that same or low price subscription rate prices for digital versions of their stuff, I'm done with paper stuff completely. Like, I'm ready for this change. And as much as I enjoy kind of coming home, opening the mailbox and going, oh, a new issue of Entertainment Weekly's here. Look, what trash awaits me today? And I can whip that thing open and look at what's going on in Hollywood. And that is, as fun as that is, it would be just as fun for me to pay, a $12 for a year subscription of something like that, which is what I paid for that, and have it show up on my iPad. I'd be more than happy to do it. I don't care if I'm not holding something in my hands, because in essence I am. I still paid for it. I still own it. If they're not doing some weird DRM thing, it saves on garbage. I throw that stuff all away anyway. So I think you're really onto something with this.
Let's move on to our long-term predictions. These are the sci-fi, weird, strange, turn your world upside down sort of predictions. Not quite crazy because we have the crazy-ass category later. But these are the a little bit past. Once we've got everything wireless, and once we've gotten rid of all the magazines and books, and we've got plenty of trees growing around, what are we going to see, George? Let's start with you. What's your long-term prediction?
I just realized my long-term is kind of crazy. But I don't know. Let's say
as long as you still also have a crazy one, that's fine.
My long term is kind of like a doomsday thing where we as a society we produce so much every day. Like everyone seems to just want to create things and objects, and we just kind of never stop producing so much trash that we have to invent a new building material based on recycled garbage, basically, to sustain the earth. We have to kind of out of the trash that we're creating, because we never stop producing these magazines and cartons and just products that just get brought into a landfill. We need to somehow figure out a way to turn all that into a new building block, into a new kind of cement or something that we can actually build the next generation of buildings with or structures with.
So right now, the way that works is you get similar products. So they take we'll say toilet paper, for example, and they make more toilet paper out of it. So they recycle that kind of paper pulp and they make it into what it was before, and the same goes for cardboard and napkins and things like that. It would be cool, and if I understand what you're saying, it seems like what you're saying is it'd be really cool if we could take sort of the conglomeration of all these kinds of things, the glass, the plastic, the paper, and come up with some way of getting that all into one big, hard, awesome, insulative material that you could make, sheetrock out of, basically. Do I have that right?
Yeah, or make the next like skyscraper out of recycled iPhones, version 1 and 3 and 30 and 50, and seems like everybody buys that stuff on a yearly basis almost, where everyone's just throwing out that old little piece of material. We got to find a way to take that material and turn it into something that we can then create bigger things with. I don't think the recycling we're doing now is enough to really keep us going. We really only recycle such a small amount of product right now that the rest of it's still just building up underneath the earth as we pile dirt on top of it.
I love this idea. I love the idea of taking all the old monster cables, now that everything's wireless, and all those magazines that have been sitting around, and we just pulp them into a slurry-like substance that we can turn into cinder blocks and build stuff out of. It wouldn't even have to be houses, would it? I mean, you could make all kinds of things. It was just basically using material to make other stuff that we still want or need, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, I like this idea. It seems to me that you'd have to adhere to whatever current standards are. It's kind of the argument against electric guitars.
It is the argument against electric guitars. The standards are ridiculous. They're overburdensome, and the government needs to stay out of our electric guitars.
My favorite gift I've maybe ever made on the show, and there's been many. But anyway, I mean electric cars. So electric cars are a great idea. It saves all this energy. We become less dependent or completely non-dependent on oil and such and gas. Okay, that sounds great, except they don't go as fast as we want them to go. They don't go as far as we need them to go. In other words, they don't stand up to the current standards that gasoline gives us. And so they have this really slow time of really being adopted by people who still need their trucks to move stuff, who still need semis to move things around the country and get things delivered because we still don't have teleporters. All of that seems to hinder this kind of thing. So if they could figure out a way to take those materials and say, all right, this is equally as good as the cement and girder and everything, all these materials that make up for a new building in Dubai that we currently do today, then you've sold the world, and then we're on our way. And it seems to me this doesn't kill any industries. This starts new industries, creates a good transition away from paper and steel and everything else we have already used, and moves us more toward, hey, look at all these landfills full of crap. We can use that stuff now. Let's dig it up.
Ayleen, would you?
Like the only way to do it.
Would you make toys out of old trash?
Absolutely. If we could figure out how to do it now, I would do it today.
I think we have an assignment now for the audience.
And there actually is.
Yeah.
There actually is. I mean, there is a lot of reuse in the toy industry. a lot of the times, like when they're injecting the PVC or plastics, any of that stuff that's cut off, any of the loose bits that's not used, it usually is ground down and reused. So there is a lot of recycling, reuse in that industry.
Well, I have to feel like somebody out there has got an idea for a way to make this work more efficiently, like you're talking about. I don't think this is crazy at all. In fact, I don't even think it necessarily has to be that long term. I think somebody out there is thinking about this. They're pondering it. Maybe somebody out there already has an idea of how to do it. They just need to get the word out. So they should probably go start a blog. And one great way to do that would be squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to publish a high-quality website or blog about your new amazing reuse recycling technology. They have an easy-to-use UI, so you can save all that time for research and development on your monster cable slurry that you're creating, and not waste a bunch of time making the website. Although maybe you have a friend who's way into CSS. They can help you with that too, because you can tweak the CSS in Squarespace. I just got my renewal notice for Squarespace for FourCastPodcast.com. We actually use Squarespace for them. They allow you to import if you've got an old blog that's WordPress or movable type or TypePad. And they also have exports. So you know what? If you want to take your blog with you somewhere else later, you can. It's all about data portability. So check them out. Go get a free trial. Go to squarespace.com. You don't need a credit card to try it out. Import your current site and see if you like it. See how it looks. Tweak it. Play with it. If you decide to purchase it, you get 10% off when you enter the offer code CAST. You know, they have a native Twitter widget now. That may be a turnoff for some, but some people might like that. So squarespace.com, offer code CAST. Thank you for your support, Squarespace. Let's move over to Ayleen's long-term prediction, looking off into the distanter future. What do you see, Ayleen?
Mine's more of a weird little social prediction, but it affects everything. Okay, so you know how every couple of years, like, you see more and more holidays popping up on the calendar for whatever, you know, it could be Secretary's Day or this there, whatever variation of, whatever level of holiday it is. I think that eventually in the future, maybe 100 years, 200 years, every day on the calendar is going to end up with some sort of a holiday or event on it. And basically the idea of, because when you were a kid and you just loved Christmas, you were like, I can't wait for Christmas, or I can't wait for Halloween. I think that's already being diluted by how many holidays and events we have going on throughout the year. So I think at some point it's just, they won't even be social events like they are today.
It feels like those other events that kind of take up the rest of the year aren't gifty enough for me to get into as much, because like Halloween, you kind of have big giant bag of candy. That's
all about the stuff with you, Johnson, isn't it?
Right. I mean, that's what Christmas is. That's what Halloween is. My birthday is that. But for the rest of the year, Secretary's Day, that's you giving stuff to somebody. So that only works for your secretary. The rest of the year, you have weird,
it's Administrative Professionals Day, Scott.
Oh, sorry. So I wonder what they've done with Stewardess Day, Flight Attendant
Day, yeah.
But all these kinds of days, they don't...
Mother and Father of your Parents' Day, not Grandparents' Day.
They don't give you any kind of anything. You just sort of observe it and say, oh, guess what today is, and maybe the bank takes that one off. Washington's birthday doesn't have a bunch of people, giving gifts. Nobody's passing out white wigs as a tradition on President's Day or anything weird like that.
Maybe that's what it will. Maybe we'll have more gift giving. What if it's gift your favorite podcaster day and you send stuff to your favorite podcaster?
Ooh, I like that. All right, July, what's today? July 12th is officially Give Free Stuff to Your Podcaster Day. You heard it here first.
Today is National Pecan Pie Day.
What?
See, there's already something.
Yeah, there's pretty much something for every day of the year.
Is it Bill Cosby's birthday too?
Is it Bill Cosby's birthday?
I think it is. It's somewhere around here, I think.
So
I don't know why.
We shall celebrate by having some pecan pie jello.
Oh, real quick, can everybody just say, does anyone share a birthday with someone famous? I just want to see if I'm the only one that shares a birthday with David Hasselhoff or someone that cool.
I do not share a birthday with David Hasselhoff. I share one with Mel Brooks and Felicia Day.
Oh,
Ooh.
All right. How about you guys?
I share one with Harry Potter and Bill Clinton.
Harry Potter, the character, or Harry Potter, the guy who plays Harry Potter, Radcliffe?
Harry Potter, the character in the book.
Ah, very nice.
And J.K. Rowling, I guess.
Hold on. Let me see your forehead. Do you have a sunlight? No.
No scar.
No scar. Okay.
Makeup.
You still lived. I don't see why he gets all the attention. George lived too.
I know. I was a
Ayleen.
boy that lived.
Yeah.
Ayleen, do you share a famous birthday with anyone?
Charlotte Bronte, my favorite writer. Probably not exciting to anybody else but me.
No, that's cool. Charlotte Bronte, yeah. The lesser-known Bronte. The cool Bronte. Emily always got all the attention.
I know, that whore.
Yeah, never liked her. All right, let's move on to the crazy-ass predictions. We're going to think 10,000 years in the future, or just wild predictions after we've lost our bodies, or just, you know what, this will never happen, but I'm going to predict it anyway because I'm crazy. You get one. Hopefully it's a doozy. We'll start with you, Ayleen.
Now I'm thinking about it. It might not be that crazy.
Oh, did I oversell? Now it's time for your mildly interesting prediction. I don't know.
Okay.
What do you got?
All right, so I was thinking about the our industry, the toy industry, and how there's so many regulations that they keep coming up with, and they keep finding a chemical that they say is bad, even though it's been in toys for 50 years. So I think eventually they're going to take everything fun, and you just won't be able to make it anymore. No action figures, no dolls, and basically kids will only have 2 soft, round, like sort of cube shapes to play with, and it comes in one of 2 colors. Steve Jobs probably designed it. And that's what you have a choice of to play with as a kid.
I think you're going to love it.
The new iPads.
Oh, you're
Yeah, that sounds miserable. I don't like that future at all. In fact,
that's awful. That's terrible.
I
I didn't say it was a happy future.
I hope it's crazy ass because nobody wants that. I mean, that means that bleeds into video games. Oh, TVs are bad for your eyes and no more video games. Those controllers are leaking lead into your fingers and it's not good. I don't want any of this. I do not want a piece of your future. That's a terrible future.
Oh, but you want the wireless part. They're wireless cubes.
That's right. That's right. And if the wireless bit isn't giving us all cancer, then surely the lead-coated toys will. But you bring up an interesting point that keeps coming up with some of the webcomic work I do, and that is people more and more, as much as we hope to think they're not, are more and more becoming really ultra-sensitive to everything. And I don't know if it's just this country, but it seems like there's this crazy ultra-sensitivity to anything that may potentially in some far off percentage harm us. And
Exactly.
I don't know that what you're saying back to that not being that crazy, because it does seem like we're kind of headed down a road where we're worried about every freaking little thing instead of sort of, seizing the day and living in the moment and forgetting about, things that are these minute possibilities in our futures that may not ever happen or may, that may not even be at the risk that we're being told it is. So on that somber note, I agree with your terrible prediction that one day we're just going to become too soft and too easy, and stuff's going to be handed to us in a way that we don't have any kind of challenge in our life or things to face. And that's not good. It may sound okay to some. That sounds terrible to me.
Well, there's another side to this, too, which is kids don't use their imaginations enough these days with all these computers and animatronic toys. When I was young, all I had were 2 blocks, and they were 2 different colors, and I used my imagination, and I went places these kids today can't go. So you're almost talking a little full circle. Like we'll kind of scare ourselves into like, oh, you can have her 2 blocks. That's it. Yeah. So use your imagination, kid, okay? Maybe it'll be good.
You know what else I hate? Let me tell you what else I hate. I hate that every kid gets a trophy in Little League. I hate that every single kid gets a trophy. I was one of those kids that didn't deserve a trophy. I was terrible at the game. But it was a good experience for me to learn to play, learn how to fail, and pick yourself back up. It seems like we're not doing that anymore. I know this is kind of unrelated, but it ticks me off because my kids, I have a 10-year-old boy, and he was in basketball. And he rocked it that season, did really well. So did a couple other players, and others not so much. And they all had a good experience. But in the end, they just had to give a trophy to every single kid because they don't want to hurt any feelings. They don't want to upset somebody's mom. Everyone's litigious. That whole thing drives me nuts. That's kind of what this is connected to. Do the trophies have all the same inscriptions on them? Or does one say first place, champion, second place, all that? No, they're all the same. Oh, even if you didn't win the season, like we came in 3rd overall, we still got these gold trophies that look the same as the team that took first place. You should get a trophy. It should just say loser. Right.
Loser trophy. That's awesome.
Did you get a trophy?
I got a trophy in Little League because we won. We were first place team.
Yeah, I got a trophy one year because we got second place, and the trophy says second place on it. It's both it's a cool thing and a slap in the face at the same time. Like, weren't good enough if we got second place.
It's good for it. I claim that Tom Merritt is a different guy now because of that experience.
Because the Quality Gas Pirates had to fight for that second place trophy.
Right. You were the first loser, and that's important sometimes, to be the first loser.
Yes, that was our team. We were sponsored by Quality Gas.
That's awesome.
What was your team, George?
Patterson Video Dodgers. Sponsored by Patterson Video.
Like a video, like VHS rental store?
Yeah, it was a mom and pop VHS rental store, like around the corner from where we lived.
That is awesome. At least they understood the real value of giving trophies that were appropriate for the kid. So hats off to them.
Our team didn't even have a sponsor the first year I played Little League. We were just the Pirates, and every other team, Baumberger, Whitlock, Dunhill Wigan Funeral Home, they all had sponsors. We were the bad news Bears. We had no sponsor. And so then the next year we finally got a sponsor. We got nice new uniforms and everything. And then everyone was like, "Oh, you got a sponsor. Now you think you're so hot." And we won second place. So we were, sort of.
I was going to say, it worked. You came in second place.
Exactly. We bought our trophy, just like the Yankees.
Oh, man.
All right, let's move over to you, George. Crazy-ass prediction. Far, far into the future, or just far, far out of whatever, out of your mind. What do you got?
I think that my prediction would have to be that I would hope that we would all have giant mechs. I would love to live in a world. I mean, I won't be alive by then, but I would love to see a world in some point, maybe looking down from above, where everyone has their own giant mech. They could fight if they want. If it's an aggressive society, maybe they'll be fighting, or maybe they'll just use them for transport. But just walk out your door and there's your giant mech waiting for you instead of a stupid car.
And then there'll be all different models of mech, and people will be like, "Oh, you've got that Prius mech that runs. It's a hybrid tree hugger. Why you got that?
Yeah.
I'm going to
and
stomp
the
on you."
SUV mechs that are just giant.
Yes, exactly.
I love this future. I'm a huge I used to play a lot of the Mech Warrior video games, and I used to read a lot of the there was Japanese manga, and I can't remember the name of it, but the mecha stuff. Anyway, I love that stuff. Giant robots. Stuff. Yeah. And like Voltron kind of thing where smaller. That's not a good example, but smaller mechs make bigger mechs. And I'd love to be able to hang out with my neighbor and say, "Well, I've got this thing, and you got the bigger torso. Let's combine them into one bigger robot. Let's go fishing." Whatever. I love your future. That is awesome. Mechs are inherently cool for any kid who ever grew up with Saturday morning cartoons or with video games of any kind or with toys and action figures. You always thought about mechs and how great it would be. So you have just confirmed that future is the one I want as well.
Nice.
That's a good future, although you said aggressive, so those guys in Robot Jocks didn't seem all that happy.
Well, but sometimes there's got to be a loser in a fight sometimes. You'll get a trophy, too, a little mech trophy.
I'm trying to decide what I think this would do to road rage. I could see it going either way. Either it just gets really out of hand because everybody's got these huge mechs and they could just beat the crap out of each other, or it would reduce it because you can kind of get it out of your system really fast, and you might take a beating from the guy in the SUV, so you just kind of chill out.
Well, if mechs are anything like what they're portrayed in toys and cartoons and stories, they would have working arms and sort of legs. And it would be a lot easier. I mean, you would now be an entity on the road if there were such things as roads, I suppose, where you could react like a person would. So you would smack a guy in the back of the head.
Yeah, well, and honestly, on crowded sidewalks, you don't have sidewalk rage. Every once in a while, somebody bumps into you, you get a little miffed or whatever, and it just goes away. Maybe that would be the paradigm for moving about if everyone had mechs. I'm all for this, George. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like the future.
So
some people want flying cars, but what's good's a flying car? Mechs are better.
And you know what they call the mechs down in Houston?
What?
They're the Tex-Mex.
Oh, but
look, only thing worse than that is I thought you were going to say Mexican, and I was going to be all offended.
You're like, that the people in Texas are not Mexicans, Tom. Mex, I can. That'll be one of the sales tactics. One of the sales
slogans. By the way, there's another reason they're better than flying cars, because inherently mechs fly, or at the very least, they have some sort of booster that'll take them to a certain height and they can land again. So really, we get the flying cars with the mechs anyway. Done deal.
That's true.
True.
Yeah.
Fun.
All right. You're wise, Scott.
Yeah, wise. For my age, I'm rather wise.
Actually, for your birthday's coming up pretty soon here.
Next week, it'll be me and David Hasselhoff partying it up on the 17th of July.
So I think your wisdom, you're wise for your age, even as old as you are. Yeah, I'd say you're right.
We will not say on the air.
All right, but on FourCast with 4 questions, the name of our next segment. It is time for 4 questions, where we hit up each of our guests rapid fire style with 4 questions about the future. They are not allowed to stop and think, but rather tap into the communal energy of the space-time continuum, answer from the gut, and therefore give us, if not a more accurate prediction, at least a highly entertaining one. Scott, are you ready to take over?
I am. I've got questions for George. George, we always ask if our guests are sitting comfortably when we do this. Are you sitting comfortably, sir?
No, not at all.
Good. I picture like an old Star Wars figure jammed into your thigh or something from the couch, and you're very uncomfortable.
Finally, we get much better answers when you're not sitting comfortably. If you're comfortable, you just kind of start to lounge off. So
exactly. Never as fun. So here we go. Rapid fire style, 4 questions. It starts with, in a fight to the death, who wins, McFarlane Toys or DC Direct?
Oh, McFarlane Toys now or McFarlane Toys at the heyday?
At the heyday.
McFarlane Toys.
I would agree. You have answered wisely. If you melted down every action figure you own and mixed them all together, what color would it be?
The color of my tears. I would cry. That would be awful. Brown.
When they're uncomfortable,
brown tears.
Such better answers when they're uncomfortable. What flavor of synthetic meat will you ask for on your future pizza?
Oh, synthetic meat on pizza. Human?
You long pig. I'll have a half long pig,
right?
half
we're not eating real humans.
Exactly. We can finally be cannibals and feel good about it. If you could pick one household appliance to be your eventual robot overlord, what would it be?
What's that thing? What's that
toaster?
Cuisinart thing? Like, what's that thing called? The blender with the...
Oh, the KitchenAid.
The KitchenAid.
You'd be cool.
Can do everything. Yeah.
I bow before the KitchenAid.
That thing can do everything.
Very nice. Well, you passed. Very nice work. I can't wait to hear what Tom has to ask Ayleen.
Congratulations, George. All right, we move over to you, Ayleen, with 4 questions. Are you sitting comfortably?
Absolutely not.
Then we will begin. Ayleen, when the inevitable zombie invasion happens, how will you survive?
Keep weapons by the bed and plan escape routes ahead of time, and basically hole in until I've thought about this a lot. Hole in until absolutely can't wait anymore, and hopefully most of the zombies will have dispersed from around my vicinity or died from lack of brains. And then I can make my way out to probably the coast.
You, my friend, should teach zombie preparedness classes. That was a very good answer.
That's amazing.
She thinks about it a lot, actually.
Question number 2. What toy that is new today will still be popular in 100 years?
Oh, new today?
Today-ish.
Oh, that's a good question.
You're not supposed to think. Just blurt something out.
I can't even think of it. Like, He-Man came to mind immediately because it's survived for 30 years. So let's go with He-Man still.
You think He-Man will be on top of the world still in 100 years? Kind of like, I was thinking when I wrote this question, like the ball is still an incredibly popular toy. And who would have thought when they invented the ball back in the Stone Age? They're like, you know what? That's a great idea. That's going to last thousands of years.
Yeah, the ball's done pretty good
for it. Action figure.
Yeah. So He-Man and the ball. Question number 3. What tasty fast food will still exist in the year 3000 and why?
Definitely Taco Bell, and we already know because we saw Demolition Man. It lasted that long.
Exactly. It will become all restaurants.
That's when I first fell in love with Sandra Bullock. Continue, Tom.
And finally, question 4. Will bears ever learn to talk?
No.
Why?
because they don't think we're intelligent. They don't have anything to say to us because we're not intelligent enough to communicate with them.
We're just not worth the effort.
Yeah,
is what
exactly.
You're saying. Excellent. Thank you. Well answered, Ayleen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was fun.
Speaking of animals, I tweeted earlier today, and I got a little grief for it from some animal lovers, but I basically said that the one thing that makes your dog look more stupid is watching a really good documentary on beavers. And I would argue that it's same for bears. Some of these animals do the craziest things, and it makes my dog look like just a lump of crap. Anyway, just throwing it out there. It reminded me of it when you said that. But yeah,
my dog is sitting right next to me right now here at the cottage, and she's not very happy with you. She's typing out an email right now.
But if your dog had to fight a beaver, don't you think your dog would win?
Oh, I don't know, man.
Depends on which dog. Django, my Rottweiler Shepherd mix, no problem. Sawyer, the Border Collie, he's scrappy, but he doesn't have weight. And that beaver's got a big old tail. So I'd say 50-50 there.
Wow.
Do they have mechs?
Yes. Now, if you give these pets mechs, it changes the entire table because then it just depends on what kind of mech.
Yeah.
Pet mechs.
That documentary proved to me that if, in a pinch, a beaver could build a mech out of trees. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, pet mechs. And that will happen if we all get mechs. You know they're going to... Anything that people make for humans, someone tries to make it for a pet.
That's right.
So that little three-legged dog, he'll have a mech. He'll be a four-legged dog again.
Oh,
Oh, that'll be so nice.
Another toy that might last 100 years, I was just thinking about this, would be Lego, probably.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's a good call. Yeah.
yeah, Lego's a good one. Lego's a good one. And what else keeps coming up all the time? Hula hoops kind of never did again, right? It kind of died.
No, they're
You
still
could find
around.
them every year, though.
Yeah, they're not a big seller.
Frisbees, maybe?
Water
Chia pet.
guns?
Water guns, yeah. Super soakers.
Pet rock.
It's funny, when you said toy, I instantly thought what franchise toy is going to last. So.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, that's easy to do, though. I mean, if you ask me, I'd like lawn darts to come back. But we now, of course, live in a world where everyone gets trophies. No way we're getting lawn darts back.
Everyone gets lawn darts.
I went to high school with a kid who was actually hit in the head with a lawn dart. The Jart, remember Jarts?
Oh,
back
yeah,
in the
jarts.
day?
Yeah.
He had a scar, a permanent scar from where they had to cut his head open to get the lawn dart out of his head.
Guy in my high school got hit by a jart. Actually, I'd almost forgotten about that.
Well,
So there you go. Let's not bring those back. I don't think they were good. Someone on the chat thing said yo-yos. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, those started out as a weapon. At least I don't know if this is an urban myth or if it's a legend, but allegedly they were invented in the Philippines as a weapon.
Really?
Yeah, I've read that. I've never been able to get somebody to 100% verify that that's true.
I know somebody we could ask.
Filipino yo-yo warriors would just laugh at the sight of a yo-ball. Remember yo-balls?
Yeah. Who are you gonna hurt with that?
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
All right. Well, thank you guys. It was great having you on the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time to share your visions of the future with us. Tell folks where they can find more about you online.
Well, they can find us at toybreak.com every week. And thank you so much for having us on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. And this was super fun. Coming up with the predictions was a good challenge.
Thanks so much for having us. And you can also catch us at Comic-Con if anyone's going to be there at booth 4838.
Good call.
Absismurfly. Well, a pleasure to have you on again.
You didn't just say Absismurfly.
I totally did. Yeah. I thought I'd try to sneak that by. But nothing gets by you, Ayleen. Well, thank you guys, and thanks everybody for watching. You can find us live on Twit now on video every Monday at live.twit.tv. We broadcast at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and 4 p.m. Pacific. Scott Johnson, my friend, thank you once again.
Well, it was a blast. Thank you, Tom. I can't wait for our next one. This has been great. The reception on Twitter has been great. Thanks, everybody, for all your great feedback and letting us know that you feel like we're on the right track with the show. On now with video, now with fleshy video. So it's great to be here. Thanks again.
Don't forget to leave comments at our website, fourcastpodcast.com, or just send us an email, fourcastpodcast@gmail.com. Who knows, we might read your prediction on the show. Until next time, see you in the future.
See ya.
But it's only 32 years away.